Hey everybody, Joe, Redneck Collector, coming at you with another video. So when I started this whole YouTube journey, I told myself that I wasn't going to do just pickup videos. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing those. I love showing and sharing my excitement when I get pickups, and those won't end anytime soon. I enjoy them very much. I enjoy it's an outlet for me to share the cool stuff that I've picked up with other like-minded individuals and people that might, be excited by it too. Definitely more excited than my wife was about hearing them, so she's glad for me to have done this. But that being said, though, she did discover the YouTube channel and she did sub. So while I'm glad to have another subscriber, I now have to worry about talking about how much money I spend on cards. So I'm gonna have to work out some kind of code with you guys. Like if I say I spent $3 on it, it probably means I spent 30 and so on. So factor of 10 probably is what we're gonna have to do. Hopefully she doesn't watch this part of this video. But anyway, those videos will continue. And in fact, I've got some stuff coming in I'm really excited to share. Seems like I've always got something coming in. I spend too much money on this. I spend an unhealthy amount of time on eBay being tempted by things. But regardless of that, I did want to do another one of my card stories videos. We'll call this My Card Stories Part 2, to tell a little bit about my journey through collecting, just to rehash it a little bit. My grandpa got me started in the mid 80s, mid to late 80s. By 1987, I was all in. So very, very active in the hobby from 87 to 99. Had a chance to work in a couple different stores as basically a kid during that time. Very much collected, but understood the business side of things. So I, lived it and, knee deep in all that stuff during those years. Did a lot of trading, like kids did back then. Did way more trading then than I do now. I think I've totally lost the art of trading almost completely. But anyway, to set the tone, to set the mood, if you will, to take you back, first I would like to show a couple things here. One of my last videos, I showed some pickups that I got off eBay that came in the ridiculously large screw-down holders that we used to use back in the the 80s into the 90s, really. And you wouldn't think I would just throw those away, right? I had to repurpose those and utilize them on cards befitting the status of having these inch-thick armored pieces of plexiglass. And so I had to use it on some of my big cards. These are I'm going to retire on these cards someday. So I figured I'd show a couple of them. I mean, right there, 88 score rookie prospect Gregg Jefferies. He's the next big thing, y'all. He's going to retire me, pay for my college right there. Close second, this guy right here, he'll buy my first car. If Gregg Jefferies is paying for college, here's my first car. Oh yeah, Todd Zeile, 90 Donruss rated rookie. So I would never let these two cards be harmed, so I'm going to protect them the way they should be protected. Cards of this status, are befitting of this. So if that doesn't help set the mood of my next card story, maybe I'll set it up a little bit like Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture it, DeSoto, Missouri, 1991. A young lad, me, and my friends used to hang out at, we were lucky, we had a couple different hobby stores in DeSoto, albeit short-lived. And I'm ashamed to say I don't remember which store this took place in. Cannot remember which store it was. But like many hobby shops of the day, it's cases full of singles and a wall full of wax, right? The magical wall full of wax. 91, was one of those years where, you definitely had your Topps, your Fleer, your Donruss, your Score. 91 Topps wasn't bad, but man, 91 Fleer, the god-awful yellow, 91 Score, and 91 Donruss, not much better in my opinion. I think Topps is the only one that kind of holds up a little bit. But also, you had Upper Deck with beautiful cards. Love basically any year of Upper Deck back in those days. Then we started getting some premium brands, right? 91 Fleer Ultra, which was cool. Not nearly as cool as, 92 Fleer Ultra was the leap forward, right? That's one of my favorite sets probably of all time is 92 Fleer Ultra. But 91 Fleer Ultra. But we also got another premium set that started out, and that was Stadium Club. And to this day, I have a weakness for Stadium Club. I bought a few blasters of 2024 Stadium Club. I love it. It's a great, great set. The photography, they still smell the same. When you take them out of a pack now, they still smell exactly the same way they did back in 1991. But anyway, 91, in the card shop with my buddies, and I think Stadium Club was probably about $1 a pack, maybe a little bit more. Maybe it was like $1.25, I don't remember. When, Topps and Donruss and Score and Fleer were all still 50 cents. Upper Deck, I think, was maybe right at $1. And I want to say Stadium Club and Fleer Ultra were probably like $1.25, maybe even $1.50. They were just a shade higher than Upper Deck, at least where I was at. So I can remember, chase cards out of that. Everybody wanted the Griffey, the Frank Thomas, but also the Jeff Bagwell was a huge card, 91 Stadium Club, right? So everybody wanted that. I don't know if you remember, he's sitting, he's kind of arm raised up, and everybody, Bagwell was, oh man, Bagwell, you got to get the Bagwell. Well, we're all opening the packs, as much as we could afford, but it was hard. Well, the hobby shop there capitalized on it, and they ran one of those, kind of giveaways where you spent for every, I don't know, whatever it was, dollar you spent, you got to put a ticket in to, win the drawing for a 1991 Jeff Bagwell. Sweet card in a snap case. Really, really cool, right? Had Win Me written on it. Very, very cool. Well, lo and behold, this guy wins the Jeff Bagwell. And my friends go crazy. I don't remember how much money I had to spend or my grandpa had to spend. But I win the Jeff Bagwell. It's the coolest thing in the world. But even a young redneck knows the value of vintage cards. And when a friend of mine offered up his prized vintage rookie card of an all-time great. We all knew who this great was. We knew about him. None of us were old enough to really have watched him play. He played in our lifetime, but retired when we were too young. But we offered that up as a possibility to trade it for my brand new shiny 91 Stadium Club Jeff Bagwell. Even a young man such as myself that loved vintage jumped at the chance. And I immediately traded him for this 1960 Topps Carl Yastrzemski that looks like it was rolled up to smoke. I mean, look at the creases. I don't know if my light is going to do it justice. This is still the original screw down that this card was in 1991. The light is not going to do it justice how many creases are in this bad boy. Oh my goodness. And this is the only copy of this card I have. It's definitely one I would like to get an upgrade of, even though this card will never ever leave my collection. I don't know that it'll ever leave this screw down. And if anybody's worried about the condition, it is a recessed screw down, so don't worry, it's going to stay in this sharp PSA SGC1 condition. But I had to have it, right? Last Triple Crown winner, Yastrzemski, Yaz was a legend even to 12-year-old boys such as myself. So pulled that trade off. Never looked back, didn't think twice about it. As much as I wanted that Bagwell, I never thought twice about it. I knew then vintage was the way. If only I would have just stuck with it from 1991 on, I'd probably have a much more worthwhile collection and less junk wax. But there is also a moral to the story too, is that, just like the tortoise and the hare, slow and steady wins the race. So I stayed in the hobby. My friend who traded me the Yaz, a few years later, as he got older, didn't care, and happily sold me his collection for, I don't even know, it was pennies on the dollar even back then. And I was able to get my Jeff Bagwell back, even in the same snap case that says Win Me on it. So I got to have my cake and eat it too. So there you have it. My card stories from Little Joe Redneck, 1991. In DeSoto, Missouri. Small Midwestern town that for a time had 2 hobby shops, and life was really, really good. So it tells a little bit about my journey through the hobby, and I hope 9.5 minutes I didn't bore you to death with my storytelling, but it's really a fun story for me, and when I think back on it, those formative years, even then I knew vintage was the way. I just didn't embrace it 100% like I should have. But thanks for listening. I will be doing a few more of these to tell my old stories about my time in the hobby. And I appreciate you all if you stuck with me for 10 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you all. We'll see you on the next one.